Okay, wonderful. I hopefully this is working now. And I sometimes I sit and I wait for the YouTube connection to catch up. So okay, good. There we go. Yay! Hello, everybody. Look at all you beautiful people. Hi. Hi, Brigitte and Pamela and Sylvia and Sandra. Blessings, Dana. Uh, Wonderful. I'm very excited about this week because we have, at the end of the week, we have the full moon and we have Mercury going retrograde. So all kinds of really interesting energies are mixing together. Remember, we're still in Virgo. So what we're doing is this is intuitively reading the energies. Okay, so you don't need to be an astrologer. I am not an official astrologer. I'm a baby astrologer. However, mostly my interest in this is from the energetic point of view, because if you've worked with me in any capacity in my classes or my retreats or privately, you know that it always goes down to the energy, because I struggled so much for so many years against the heaviest weights of perfectionism. They're still there a little bit. Um, we talk now, though. And that heaviness of not enoughness, I'm never good enough, and having to overachieve and please people. And it's very, very, very exhausting. And it exhausts our, okay, good, I'm plugged in. It exhausts our ability to bring ourselves fully into the present moment. It takes more energy to stay in the past or worry about the future, the what ifs, or even be completely overcome by the present in terms of what everybody else is doing, right? If you have a few moments to yourself and the first thing you do is reach for your phone and start scrolling through Facebook or texts or whatever, and of course, if you have an important text, then please look for it. I'm talking about noticing your habits and noticing where you can interrupt those patterns, because we have to stop being who we've been. So the full moon is bringing this dreamy Pisces energy. And Pisces is an energy, the symbol is two fish, and they almost look like a yin yang to me sometimes, right? They're working together. So there's an aspect of working together with. However, water is typically emotion. Now, your emotional body works through your emotional brain, your midbrain, your limbic brain, or the inner part of your inner eye, and your body. It becomes, you get triggered and you can feel it in your body. You start having tension or pain or disease or imbalance in the physical. You know that there's an energy underneath it. You're never alone. There's always this other part of you swimming with you. And you can see it as many different parts, like I do. You can see it as a whole, excuse me, like a sphere of light around you. You are layers and layers and layers of energy. However, you get to be the master, except for this time, we're moving into a dream state, is really the way that I feel it. And as we're moving towards that, since this is Monday, so whenever you see this, you can take your path this week and start to rehearse it. Okay, mental rehearsal, visualization, practice. We do call it practice, right? Seeing yourself winning the race, seeing yourself pain-free, feeling yourself. What is this dreamy aspect? Just finishing up the copal here. We've got quite a bit of it going. So I want you to know that before the call, I always create an infinity healing chamber. It is an infinity space. It's a temple of light, and it is created from different structures, symbols, and things. I always teach you if you join one of my classes. And it is the best place to be because it is not attached to any outcome, and it isn't a part of everybody's agenda. We're stepping between the worlds, and we have more ease and grace. So when we move into a dreamy state is we can't use our mind in the way we're used to using our mind, even though right now it's going to be kind of a mental state, because not mental bad, in your mind, your mental body, because Mercury is about the mind. It's the messenger. So Mercury goes retrograde on Friday and joins about 5, 6 other planets plus Chiron. So there's a lot of retrograde energy, as we talked about last week, in September and October and November. And so what does that mean for us? It's not bad. It doesn't mean that nothing will work. So if you buy into that nonsense, then you're going to create it because you're going to look for it. You have to step back into being the creator of your reality. But guess what? This full moon, usually the full moon is like bright and shining a path and illuminating everything and bringing juicy, ripe harvest of everything you've done. And there's this sense of strength and completion. But we have Mercury go retrograde, and the full moon's already being felt, of course, Friday, and then goes full in Pisces, a very dreamy, watery world. Lots of connection with spirit's guides, lots of the veil is going to thin all week. I want you to be conscious of how you step, as if you're in a fairy garden, and you want to be very careful as you step, that you don't hurt any of the beautiful beings, whether it's a little flower or a little fairy, like a consciousness of being one. As you move into this dream state, your mind needs to soften. The way that you blur your vision when you're looking to practice to see energy with your physical eyes or your overlay. All right, you soften your eyes. When you use the encoded graphics we make in our classes, and you soften your eyes while you're looking at it, they start to come alive. They get dimension, they glow. There's all kinds of stuff going on. They're coming in through your eyes, they're coming in through your skin, they're coming through your heart, your center. There's so many parts of you that are connecting to so many parts of other things. So this is a big time for empaths and sensitives and intuitives and all of you who are waking up. If you're doing any kind of personal self-growth along the lines of energy, spirituality, mindfulness, meditation, these kinds of practices, then you're on the right path. Just make it a bigger and bigger priority. But don't do it with the way you did before. I guess I don't need my energy sleeve on anymore. A little energy thingy. And what you want to do is enter the dream state and match its frequency. When you enter a dream state, you're coming into the dream. It's like pacing a river or a train or a horse, and then you get up to speed and you jump on it, or you get down to speed and you merge or you slide into it. So in today's meditation, it's going to be the full moon retrograde energies that we're talking about, this dreamy, watery world. Could be your emotional world, but this is very high frequency water. So what is that? That's clouds, right? Those are water. And water energy is also the purifier and the carrier of cellular memory, and can be programmed, as we've seen through Dr. Emoto. You can look at the water molecules after being given love or hate, and they have a completely different structure or no structure whatsoever. Chaos, disorganization, looping, never ending. Think about your body is mostly water. So if you're feeling pain and if you're complaining and you feel like it's not fair, or you're dragging all of your suffering with you as if it's the badge that you need to get through the gate to your true soul self, you don't need it. It's slowing you down. So stop waiting is one of the messages right now. Enter the dreamy world at its pace. Get ready. Take these few days in the Virgo loving. The Virgo means the virgin, okay? This has nothing to do with sex, sexuality, immaculate births, or any other stories that anybody likes to play in. This is a representative of pure, divine, sacred feminine energy, which is pure acceptance, pure receptivity, that soft, loving embrace, unconditional love. There isn't possibility to judge, pure adoration. And yet she's very strong and she's reliable and she's organized. I know my mother is a Virgo. And so they like things inside the lines. They like rules. So you want to watch where the rules support you and where the rules do not support you all through September. Okay, so get a clue on. Last week we talked about what the September energies are going to be, and this week we're talking about this week blooming into next week, because with the full moon on Saturday, you feel it for days before and after, always. Sweet life. I have so many panda mugs. All right, my beautiful. Hello, Brendan. Okay, so we're going to dive in to a little more information. So if you don't remember what we're doing with the spiritual weather report, which is essentially an energy, intuitive energy reading to give you guidance for each week, for the month, for big events like equinoxes, which we're coming up to. And we are just about to announce tomorrow, I'm going to be live here on YouTube with my dear Aztec friend, Christian, who has done so many ceremonies for my live retreats. And when the pandemic began, we started doing online ceremonies. And you may have been to one. They are incredible. We've done them from his entire family sorry about that. His entire family in Teotihuacan, right next to the pyramids. And we're going to do this from my house here on the beach. And he's going to come with his troop of 4 of them. And we're going to have an entire day of festivities. They're going to do ceremony. We're going to teach and talk on the equinox and the portal and the Mayan and Aztec philosophies and secrets. We're going to do an ancestral thing. I'm going to lead a power animal guided experience, and we're going to have a cacao ceremony, but it's going to be me and you making cacao. I'm going to show you how to make cacao. So I'm going to give you ingredients if you want to do that, and then we will do a ceremony with it, and that will show you how to do your own cacao ceremony at home. And so we're going to have this whole fun experience. It's going to be an amazing virtual equinox Mayan secrets retreat. So tomorrow, Christian will be here live with me and at noon Central. So I hope you'll join me. And so this is a really fun week for me too. For me personally, my energies are ramping up to Friday, oddly enough, the start of Mercury retrograde, where most people would say, oh no, hide, because the first and last day of anything that happens, right? The first day of a retrograde, the last day of a retrograde, or whatever, is the most powerful day. It's the day. So this is a reversal or a slowing down and beginning the in-breath, okay? So we're going to go into some of the Mercury retrograde things about this. And keep in mind that in the shop, I have a free Mercury retrograde, I forget what it is. I think it's a video and an audio or something, but it's about how to think about Mercury retrograde and not let it steal your power. In fact, it's quite sexy and exciting, I think, because currently I really do believe that we have the ability to go into our, hang on, I'm doing techie stuff, to completely redefine who we are, let go. We're breaking the last of the shells. We've got to break the bonds with being the limited being and become our infinite selves. Okay, so this is the Infinite Show, and I've had a show for a very long time. I had an online TV show. I had a radio show for a professional radio network for a while. I was on the Law of Attraction radio network, and I've been doing this kind of thing for several decades, and I've been working on myself and discovering what is going on underneath that and underneath that. And what I discovered was, instead of trying to constantly try to find my wounds and my problems, which you do run into, so you don't need to go hunting for them. When you go for what you want, you will run into what is keeping you from it, okay? So, and what I learned to ask was, what's underneath that? What's underneath that? What's underneath that? So I hope you'll join me at nanakasha.com. It is where you'll get reminders of these calls and all kinds of other fun stuff that we do over there. And this week, we're going to do the full moon abundance meditation next. Okay, I want to remind you that I have a new segment right now. It's called Infinite Conversations, and it'll have its own playlist. We have a playlist for the Spiritual Weather Report. We have a playlist just for all the meditations we're doing now, the multi-dimensional meditations, instead of including them into the energy report. And I'm starting this where I'm going to be having conversations with different interesting people that I feel are relevant. So this was one we did, and go check it out. Also, this her summit has started, so we have the link for you below, and you'll be able to enjoy all kinds of conversations and healings from the dolphins. And this is the one that's going to happen tomorrow with my wonderful friend Christian. And we're going to talk about power animals and the concept in Aztec and Mayan cultures of power animals. And I felt a very strong call that this retreat needed to be about the dolphin or the jaguar, which are my two parts of my logo for my retreats. And here where I live, we have the dolphins we do healing with. We have the dolphins right out here, wild in the ocean. We have the jaguar in the jungle, and they're very powerful Mayan history with them. However, it kept saying power animals, and interesting things have come to me around power animals. So that will be a very interesting conversation. And then next week, my dear friend Donna Stellhorn, she's a master astrologer, and she has a new course on how to learn the tarot very, very easily to read it. So she's going to share with us how to do that. So those are the beginning. If you have anybody you love, please send them to me. Anybody, if there's an event, like a series or summits that you think would be a great place for me to speak, or if there's somebody on it that you really like, please send us. We love to connect with people of like mind. I'm not seeking to connect with everyone. I'm seeking to walk my path. Okay, wonderful. So this is what's our special right now for the first half of September is our all new session of Spirit Guide Healing with the Dolphin. You get your own messages. You get your own connection to your own spirit guide or your pod. You will have a light body healing. It's quite powerful. It's an hour. It's recorded. It's private. Then the Spirit Guide Journeys with the Dolphin is a journey with the dolphins, and the high frequency recalibration healing is a energy healing. It's an audio that will be ready tomorrow that you will be able to put on and have a profound release of low energies. So if you need to clear anger, fear, pain, whatever, lower energies, it will be a phenomenal healing for that. Okay. Let's dive into what's happening right now. So remember, we're in September, we're in Virgo, like we said, we're being guided, we're being held by this very strong, very reliable, very organized, divine, sacred, pure feminine essence. And the first thing is to remember, you are pure too. You are pure. It doesn't matter how much you think that you screwed up or you failed or you did something wrong or somebody hurt you or you're damaged goods or you're never enough or you should be taller, thinner, richer, whatever, okay? It's all got to go now. So as you enter this dreamy new moon, it's going into dream walking your dream. Dream walking your dream. Do you want to dream walk your nightmare? Or do you want to dream walk your dream? It's your choice, okay? This needs to be felt. It needs to be embodied because it's Pisces, because it's water, because it's emotional, because you need to let the mind expand to the higher mind, to the one mind, to the spirit guide connections, to the intuitive network that you are. All right. Everything is about expansive mind, not logical, analytical mind. Okay. The familiar senses are not going to be able to pick up the subtleties of these energies. So Mercury goes retrograde on Friday and adds the mystery in the messages coming through the full moon. The illumination you get from the full moon is misty and dreamy as you navigate. Retrograde is an intimate, internal, intuitive phase where the messages and messenger are not leading you forward. Instead, they're coming in and sitting with you. I want you to change your idea about retrograde to think, oh, goody, another powerful being, another powerful essence that has specific powers. Okay, everything, just like you, has a unique and specific power. Saturn is a particular energy. Jupiter is expansive and positive and all these kinds of things. That energy is coming into your house to sit with you during retrograde, to review, to reflect, to sit, to rest, everything RE. Okay, so what I want you to do is feel like, oh, they're here. So Mercury is the divine messenger, and as you transition into slowing down and revisiting, that's what you're going to be doing, right? Messages and communications during the start of this Mercury retrograde, then your inner world is going to glow. Because when you're in mist and lights come on, right, it kind of glows. And if you've ever turned on bright lights when you're driving in a heavy fog, it's hard to see. You actually have to turn the lights down. You can't see with your normal senses. So to get clues and keys of what is in the outer world, you must allow your senses to carry you into the abstract of this dreamy, and the light language is there. All right, this was one of my sunsets this weekend. We're moving out of the time when we face north. It's very hard for people to conceive, but the sunrise and sunset come out in the summer, and we see them both. And now they're going back behind us over the land, and we only see them. So I want you to put your focus on the path you're on right now. And you're entering Mercury retrograde, and it's already in, I think sometimes people call it the shadow phase, where it's starting to slow down. It's starting to get a little bit, it's less forward movement. So what does that mean? Mercury is a messenger. This is the part about intuitive awakening. So what messages are coming to you? What messages did you miss because you were too consumed in your busyness or your life or your fear or your pain or something else that was happening? Okay, so that's what's fun about this, is as you're preparing, you're starting to go. So this is a list of RE words, just a small list to help you think about some of the things. The first one that Mercury gave me to tell us that's important is rewind. And rewinding, the fairies wanted to emphasize that. Rewinding means what to you? And then remind. So you, as Mercury, you don't have to do this, but this is what you're getting ready for. So you might be like, okay, maybe you've been in the Leo forward energy movement, right? You're like, okay, I know. Like for me, I am moving towards Friday for big things. And you'll be finding out more about them all week. But this is what my energies and my charts and my intuitive guidance have been telling me, is get ready. And then after the 9th, it's going to be a very different energy. I'm going to have to shift out of move, think, channel, create, and move into that soft receptiveness and shift. So I need to rewind to see, okay, what have I done? What have you done that has been amazing? What have you achieved? What have you accomplished? What have you completed? What have you been through? Some of my clients are going through some of the deepest, most intense times of their lives. And some of them feel like at times they're just being sucked down, like just being pulled down by their emotions and their fears, and they want to go forward, but they're afraid, and back and forth. And this is the beautiful thing, is when they're in that phase and they're conscious of that phase and they're talking to me and we're working together to walk them through it, they can be as conscious as possible to walk through that situation, which means what? It means you get more from it in the moment. You move through it usually more quickly, but the timing really depends on more things. So right now, rewind. Rewind all the way through the beginning of this year and all the way through to this moment last year, because we're moving to the equinox. And equinoxes are very powerful portals. So everything you do for the next several weeks is going to be getting ready to walk through that portal. So you need to rewind now and remind yourself of what you've achieved and what you've let go of, and free yourself of stuff, release yourself. You need to review who you are no longer and consciously thank it and complete it and let it go. put that into your mind, it will complete it throughout your energy body. Then you need to replace. You need to replace what you've been thinking with something powerful from your future self. The future self. You have a bazillion potential future selves. You get to create it by who you're being right now. If you keep saying, but it's not here yet, and I'm not good enough yet, and I'm afraid of this, and I can't do this, you can be afraid and still move forward. You can be afraid and still let go. You can be afraid and do anything. So you're going to replace with things that are getting you in tune with that future self that you know is optimal for you, whether you know exactly what it's like. And this is going to begin to renew you. You're going to have more and more to reflect on, and that will rejuvenate you. And when you remember, this is taking those parts of you that you've buried, chopped off, ignored, been afraid of, your voice, your power, your intuitive skills, your psychic development, what's happening in your relationships, your freedom that is, happening to you. You need to leave a relationship or a job or a home or whatever, who knows what. That is freeing you. Okay, so you're going to remember by putting parts of you back on, but you're releasing again. This is a formula right here for you that came from Mercury. This is a message, okay? But then you're going to release again because you don't want to hold on to the memories of the pain. You want to take back your power, that all those ideas about yourself that you've carried around, that you're not good enough, blah, 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 that goes, and you keep the part of you that it was holding back. Then you're going to return back to your power. You're going to re-gift yourself with your truth. And you're going to be able to re-listen. When you re-listen, you're going to think, do I hear something new that I missed the first time? I can tell you that my clients who really take advantage of their time with me, even if they do one soul reading 2-3 times a year, it's so profound and powerful for many people. They can work with it a long time. And they go back and listen to it again for sure for the first 3, 4, 5, 7 days, sometimes a month, because there's a healing in it. It's quite profound. But they go back and take notes because they didn't hear it all, because they were there, present in the moment, aligned with what they were meant to receive in that moment. So when you re-listen to the old recordings, I get these emails saying, oh my gosh, I forgot how much came through, or I forgot that part of it, or I remembered so much. Or like one of my clients recently was so afraid to listen to it again because we had found 2 very painful past lives, other parts of them that were living in parts of their body that were creating the blocks that they had, that they came out of it just remembering that part. And it took 2 weeks, I think, before they were willing to listen to it again. And when they did, they said, oh my God, it was the most beautiful healing ever. And he's like, yes, it is. So re-listen to yourself, re-listen to things that have happened. Just like review the year, like we do at the end of the year. Oh, this year in movies and this year in whatever. And then you get to remix, okay? Remix how you can give it a new sound, a new spin, a new meaning to align with the new you. So these are a whole bunch more. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we put these in the email. And maybe I'll have Donna stick them up in a blog for you. Okay, this was what came through today, and I can promise you there's more, right? So here's a little light being. Let's see, I think there's a better one of that here. A little light being that came to kiss my face during the sunset the other day. And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see anything, actually, when I was taking the picture. I could just barely see that I had it focused around me because it was so bright. And I had a series of pictures where this little angelic being here was kissing my face and then coming in, and I started laughing. It was like it was whispering or kissing me. And there's just a series of these. It was delightful. And I wanted to share that with you. And I thought, well, that's interesting, isn't it? It's a week out from the moment, right, of this full moon. And it was a week out from this energies. We're talking about the thinning veil. All right. So this feels like I really feel like I missed part of my slides. Excuse me a minute while I see if they were somehow moved around. My wonderful assistant Donna often adds stuff for me and it doesn't show up where I am. So the other thing that of course we're talking about is the full moon. But like I said before we started the slides, is that we have the full moon and okay, good, we did that. Excellent. I know where I am now. Okay, good. And the full moon is usually this PowerPoint, and it is, but you need to enter it with your different senses. So you need to rise out of your body and your mind into your heart. And your heart center is quite vast, and you must open new doors of perception. That's one of the big opportunities in this. I'm a huge proponent of developing your intuition, and I'm creating more ways for you to increase your psychic development. It needs to happen, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it my sixth sense, whatever makes you feel safe, okay? But you have to open these doors of perception in this unusual full moon, because clarity is not here in the way it normally is. So no logical mind, no analyzing. I know I fixed that. Mercury turns retrograde. Now it means you're going internal. You're going to the intuitive inner world to get the clues and keys of what's in the outer world. So retrograde means turning within, rewinding, reviewing, thinking, whispering, sitting with these divine essences, the messengers right there, helping you. If something comes up, turn to these divine beings that are sitting with you, all these retrograde energies. So this is also, there's some Mars energy that is making things very raw and sensitive. So it's a very unusual combination of this Pisces and this emotion and this fluidity and this depth and this dreaminess and this world and the spirit guides and this thinner veil and this glowing in the mists because of this dreamy full moon. And your sensitivities and your uncertainty and your hesitancy are going to all rise up. And I want you to embrace them as if that is exactly what's meant to happen. I want you to, if you're becoming more sensitive and you're an empath and you're sensitive and you shut this down before, this is your power. It is time for you to stop being weak with it. Stop being overwhelmed by it. Stop being afraid of it. Stop being afraid of being attacked for it. We've all been there. We're here together. Join my community. Come back here weekly. Come back here. Let me help you. Let somebody help you understand. These are your powers and you need to be attuned to them. Yes, you're uncertain because you've never been here. Neither have we. Nobody has. Okay? And your hesitancy is just the old programs. You pick them up like a little child or a lost puppy and you say, I've got you. I love you. Let's step into this dreamy full moon. I want you to understand that you're entering your own dream walking world. You're going to have, starting Wednesday, it's going to be a really good time to feel like you're really entering this portal, and through Sunday into Monday, like you're walking through this dreamy world, okay? Dream walking, that means that you want to be attuned to your intuition. It's speaking to you. Can you listen and notice the signs and synchronicities that are in this dreamy landscape? Because it's full of it. It's like walking into, an old Hitchcock movie where they made it about, Carl Jung or Freud, or they had all these, symbols in the dreams. It was very, very, very interesting. This is where you're going. Okay, empaths and all sensitives know this is the time to stand. Now is the time to stand strong in your abilities and not be overwhelmed by them. Okay, this is your choice in your power right now, and you can perceive way more than the average person during this week. Now, that doesn't mean turn it on, be overwhelmed by it. It means just be simply listening. Okay, listen. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to jump up and make it happen. Listen. Okay? You can feel that raw sensitivity. Change it. Okay? From perceived as overwhelming to opening to a new level of your powers. I want you to flip a switch. Instead of being afraid of walking with your sensitivities open, you're going to enter with strength and knowing that you're designed to be the ones who can perceive more subtle messages and information. You're designed to be the ones to help others wake up. They're the ones that are stuck in the mud. They're the ones that can't believe or are afraid to believe their own senses are awakening up. You can ride your sensitivities up, okay? And your feelings, remember, are just chemicals produced, okay, in your limbic brain. And they're produced quickly based on what you thought this meant before. So this is a chance to change your beliefs and to look at your inner design as waking up to its value. Oh, finally, I can figure out who I am. Finally, it is safe to open up the vault of who I am. Finally, I can truly be who I am meant to be. That is scary. I had a powerful and amazing client, an incredible, natural, intuitive. I mean, natural, everybody is intuitive, but I mean, it was bursting out of her. She lived in a small town in England, and her family and her village was very against this kind of thing, still had very, very limited thinking around it. And she was afraid of it. And she was in a position in her life where she had crippled her body. She was so stressed and so shut down, trying to hold back her powers, that she had created so much disease in her body she could barely walk. She was, I think, going through a divorce or had been divorced, was struggling to survive financially, was relying on family, so needing to please them and feeling like I need to please them to be safe. And then felt these overwhelming urges to let herself go, to start to travel, to be who she was meant to be, to open to her intuitive senses. And in that moment, that flash of her relaxing and allowing that intuitive flash to come through, imagine if you get these kinds of things when you walk through this full moon. She joined a 6-month program of mine. No, I think it was a year. And within the first 2 months, she healed her body. She sent me a picture of her running and jumping and clicking her heels way up above on the sand in the beach near where she lived. And she was thrilled. She was on fire. She's like, I'm strong and I'm standing up for myself. And she started to speak up to her family. And it didn't go well. They got upset. They started to bully her. They started to ridicule her. They started to tell her she was a bad person, threatened to take away the support, love, and the finances. Really worked hard on her motherhood. You're not a good mother if you believe in this evil stuff and all of this kind of thing. And then she went through a couple of months in the program of complete confusion. Now, this is going to happen to everybody. This is what's called the hero's journey. Okay. You leave your ordinary world. You listen to that call. You make a change. You meet magical mentors like me, or, I'm your fairy godmother or something, right? And then you move along and things start to change. And then suddenly you fall in a pit, right? And your demons come up and things don't look good. And you end up in a dark forest and you get stabbed and you think you're going to die and you lose the love of your life or whatever. That's what this is all about. And then what does the heroine do? She stands up. She finds that place within herself to stand up and say, oh, wait a minute. That doesn't mean anything about me. I'm here to move through this. And now I can wake up to my value. So flow, let go, stop waiting, trust. How does that feel? Because what happened to this client was very, very difficult. She started to make plans to move. She was super on fire. She started to get clients to hire her for her psychic abilities, and she was exceptional. And then she suddenly stopped paying me. And she came on the call with the group. It was a group program. And she said, I have a question. I said, absolutely, hon. And she said, why do I hate you so much? And you've changed my life for the better more than anything in my entire life. Why do I hate you? Why do I not want to pay you? I feel like I don't even want to make money because I don't want to have to pay you. And so we discussed that. And this is how your inner demons or your inner beliefs or your inner parts of you that have been programmed with such pain and anger deep, deep within to stay quiet or else. So she was suffering the consequences of opening to her gifts and accepting who she was. And that was that the people in her life didn't agree with it. And they bullied her. So her inner programs came up And they started to shut her down. They started to make her sick again. They started to shut down the avenues of money, and they started to make her angry towards me and anything else in her life that had changed. I want you to realize that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean you were wrong. This is the end of the hero's journey. When you think you've come back to life and you're charging forward and you're going home and you've saved the day, and the demons chase you out of the underworld. There's always that time when it comes back again and tries to pull you down. So be soft and receptive, blur your vision so you can begin to see beyond your beliefs and perceptions into your future. And please, please stop waiting. Please. Okay, so because the Pisces energy, the Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So it means also that this dreamy world is the end of a cycle. So what could you leave behind and enter the dreamy world to become? Okay, don't obsess over the details. Sunny means don't. That's what my phone does. You want to complete anything that's done, and you just say that to yourself. Let go of your past identity to pain. It only perpetuates more pain. Lose it in the dreamy mists of Pisces and stay aware yet not intense, right? Don't focus too much. Or else the Mars energy is going to go in and irritate things and overly sensitize you. You can open to inner signs, symbols, signals, synchronicities. Pay attention to your dreams, of course. And Mars can help your intuitive senses be more fine-tuned if you don't let the addiction to action take over this dreamy phase. And I have that. Oh, I'm going to go jump and do something right now. No. Play between the worlds in this time with the thinner veil, because you're going to have more communication come in. You're not going to understand it all. You don't need to. Don't obsess over that. Let go. Come back to the pure state, the pure state, the pure state. Expect, invite, and listen for communication to come in new ways from your higher self, from spirit guides that need less analytical and more intuitive ways to decipher them. You need to unfold the meaning inside of you. Okay, your higher self and your spirit guides are very active, and you can heal, reveal, and uncover a lot of guidance and answers. Just realize that, like in a dream, they may not make sense right away. There may be symbolism and depth that you may need to unfold and allow it to show its true meaning, and you may never know what things mean, and it's okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on to our full moon abundance. Don't forget about the beautiful dolphin healings that are here. And I hope that we will have the opportunity to join together in something. Tomorrow, if you're on nanakasha.com, we're going to send out some information. We'll share with you on the live stream with Christian all about the virtual equinox retreat. All right. Namaste, my loves. Mwah. Full moon blessings. I'll see you in the meditation. Namaste.